This is my first ride after changing my oil, so changing my oil and not changing my filter because oh man, look at these people fucking living down there and shit, man. It's like fucking Ecuador. Seriously. Got a tent, got a pool. Jesus Christ. So I spent 2 hours changing the oil and trying to change the filter to this bike, and it was complicated by the fact that, contrary to what I was reading in the 12-hour forum, you cannot substitute a Purelator 1410 something or other filter for the stock Kawasaki filter. It simply doesn't flow, and I don't know if it's too low for the oil pressure gauge to read it or what, but you look in the stock filter, you'll see it like a little valve, a little valve spring and lever in the center of the chamber that is not there on the Purelator filter. And I am guessing that valve spring does something to enable the oil filter flow sensor, the oil pressure sensor or whatever it is, to actually register sufficient pressure to think that there's oil in the engine. And on top of that, it also does something to keep it from knocking. If you don't have the right filter in, you get a large amount of knocking in the cylinder head, and possibly some knocking in the crankshaft area too. All I know is doing a fair amount of dun 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 without the stock filter in. So after starting it a couple times without it, not getting the light to read, and after letting it run and gently revving it just a little bit, seeing if maybe it was just not if I had drained all the oil out, it's because I've noticed this happens, once or twice before. It takes a little time for oil to work around. It still didn't work, so I shut it down. Didn't really have much choice. Ooh. And put the, I could have gone that way. Shit, I could have gone either way. I don't know what I was thinking. Really want to go east, I guess. No, we can go west. I know where I want to go. No, we're not going to get this light now. Shut it down. Put the stock filter back on, which, by the way, looked like it had been hammered by a big chunk of asphalt and had a sizable dent up in the grip area. And a piece of asphalt still stuck there. So put that back on, and it took about 2 seconds, and then it worked fine after that. I don't know what this guy's waiting on. You trying to decide whether to go this way or not? Or is he in training for CSL? I think he is. So, that was a little bit of excitement. But, just goes to show, don't believe what you're reading in the forums without any hesitation, even if more than one forum member agrees with it. Sometimes it's just not right. That's simple. I'm glad I didn't toss the old fairing. I was really cautious. Or, punch a hole in it with a screwdriver trying to take it off. Alright, so what we're going to do today is we're going to take a quick jaunt. Really just up the street. I just wanted to cool off a little bit. and try this road I found over the winter on a bike, just see what it's like. I can find it again. And also, we're going to test my Storm Chaser app. Because one of the big things I'm working on, or want to work on this year while riding, is to be able to avoid getting caught in the rain. So I found a couple of radar apps, weather radar apps, and I'm going to see what it takes to use them. Now, what I've noticed about weather storm systems is that there's pretty much like state size. You have to look at the weather in the next state, really. At least for my state, on the East Coast, you know, states aren't all that big, so, well, at least my state isn't. But the big point is you have to look at the weather over the mountains, like in the Appalachians, and kind of watch it track in from there. It takes a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours to make its way to the coast. So what we're going to do is check the radar apps, and you know, instead of just watching the clouds. Clouds are interesting, but certainly the clouds are not enough to keep you from getting wet. You can be riding along. The one thing it happened to me a couple times, just be riding along, space of 10 miles, you're in a torrential downpour. So what I want to do is stop every now and then, just check the radar and see what's going on. Well, last time I looked, there were some storms coming in over Pittsburgh. Sorry, it doesn't have another gear. Sorry, it's got a ton of acceleration, even in 6th gear at 4,500 RPM. So we're cruising up here on 95 at Maryland. You can see the clouds are a little pinkish. It's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. No real reason for alarm at this stage. But it's hot, it's the summer, and it does tend, for a while there was raining every afternoon at like 6 o'clock. Get these giant thunderstorms. Last couple of weeks that hasn't been the case, so or maybe today it's going to be that way, so we'll see. So I'm going to try to, I was planning to go out to Paw Paw on Route 522 or something today, but I got started really late. I didn't do the oil change yesterday like I planned to, and I got it started too late today. It just, you know, was just a pain. And another thing that I've learned about doing oil changes on bikes, never plan to do a long ride after you do an oil change. Like immediately after you do an oil change. Look at that, traffic's backed up over there. So just like that, something's happened. So let's see if this guy can merge today. So I put about a half tank of gas in the bike yesterday, and okay, maybe we won't ride all the way out to West Virginia today, and we'll just go for a little ride. Run the GoPro out here. So what we're really looking for here is a road called Old Church Road, which is quite a heinous little road. Now, I found a bunch of roads lately that exhibit what I call the blind press turn phenomenon, which is where you come over a crest in the hill and it turns. You come over the crest, you can't see what's behind the hill, and it turns behind the hill or on top of the hill or some shit nonsense like that. And there's no real indication that that turn is happening other than maybe a gap in the trees. If you're lucky, you can see that. So we have two choices. We can either roll up around 695 to the west and then take it out to 70. Well, we have to go way up past that. We have to go almost to Towson to find it. Or we can go this way, which I'm going to go this way because I don't want to ride on the highway all day long. I'm already seeing a problem that I don't like about this bar. The handlebars, the grips are too small. And they're annoying me. It's too hard to keep my hand tight on the throttle. It's annoying. Probably this way I can come over here and wreck my bike. I'm trying to impress you all by how slow I can go around this storm. Ooh, look at that. That looks like storm. That really looks like a storm. I would say that we're riding into the rain right now, except, like I said, I just checked my storm map and there is no rain on the map in the area. But one of the problems with this storm app is that it needs a 4G connection to get updates. So we will stop up here and get some updates. The other problem is I don't have power on my bike yet to power devices. And so I don't have a lot of power. I didn't even really charge my phone up while I was sitting there watching me work on my bike. Man, let me see if I can get together this bike. So we're gonna go by if I can remember how to get there, by this park called what the hell is it called? Not Patuxent. It starts with a P something or other. I forgot what it is, but we'll get there in a little bit. We'll be there in a minute. Did find some very cool roads up here and a good place to get some coffee and a nice gym to drive by and scope out some babes, which is a wonderful thing. I'd say it's going to rain like 5 minutes. Just look at that weather. So yeah, this grip is too damn small. I don't know if it's the gloves are too big, the grips are too small or what, but my hand's already, I just feel like I don't have, it's not thick enough, you know? And I can really only hold it with my first couple of fingers. But then I've also had some numbness on my outside fingers for some reason, I don't know, which I think is just from hanging on the internet too much, my computer, and the rest of my palm down in the wrong part of my laptop. So anyway, it looks pretty dark up there. So anyway, cruising around the Beltway or 695, you know, it's not really what I want to be doing, especially when any moment the oil filler bolt or drain bolt could pop out and the bike decides it's going to lock up the rear wheel, which I don't want to be dealing with that on 695. Ilchester Road closed at 103, follow detour. Now this is an interesting detour. Ilchester Road in and of itself is interesting. Man, that is certainly a front. So I've got some, let's speak of heat. So I've got some heat on my ankle, if anything, from this bike, my right ankle. So I think this Ilchester Road is pretty simple, basic road. And then the seat is pretty hot. Isn't this exciting right around the neighborhood and what is this? I'm not even sure. It's Ellicott City, maybe, on the way to Ellicott City. So I came by here one day to see if I could get a demo on the KTM 390 before I actually rode all the way out to East Bumfuck on the RC 390. Before I actually just said fuck it, rode out to the KTM Orange, actually found it. You know, eventually I found it on Google. But this road is pretty heinous little road. I mean, I'm not even gonna deny that this is a heinous little road. So now I don't want to indulge in what apparently is everyone's favorite fantasy, which is lecturing the noobs, but I think this road will speak for itself in terms of heinousness. I'm gonna let this guy behind me pass me because I could have wrecked it right there. Seriously, could have. I was trail braking deep in that corner, and I just took it easy. It's still back behind me. Now you could be flying down around this shit if you wanted to. I'm gonna let him pass me. And it's one of the things I like to do when I'm riding on a road, which I might kill myself on, is just let anybody that gets up behind me pass me, because I know, and I've had this conversation many times with many people. You talk about how bikes can corner with cars. It still doesn't mean it's something you should be trying to do. Car goes up your ass, let him go by. You got enough to worry about, just not wrecking. He never has to worry about, you know, the odds that a guy in a car is going to wreck on the road are much lower than the odds that you're going to wreck on your bike. So, you know, let discretion be the better choice, and just let him go. And if you stay up with him, that's one thing, but you know, it doesn't hurt to let him go run off down the road. See, imagine you come down here, it's raining and there's gravel all over the place and all kinds of shit. I'm hitting the brakes here. Yeah, so I found a lot of new, there's gravel here, found a lot of new twisties. About going running off into the mountains. And then I ran off into the mountains and I found a whole lot of new twisties, which I want to try. I mean, it's one thing I've always liked Route 522 coming from Richmond. It's a fun route. Coming all the way from Richmond, south of Richmond, even, you know, down by VIR, but it keeps going on past Manassas and so forth and so on, and goes all the way up into, you know, up to Columbia. I mean, Cambridge, Maryland, Chestertown, Columbia. Yeah. Oh, fuck. And there's a bug in my eye on top of that. Bug bouncing around in front of my glasses. I got an idea. Why don't you pull out in front of me, dick, and then fucking stop. Like a dick. Fuck out of the fucking way. Dude, you know, of course he stopped, right? He had to stop in the middle of the road. Why? Because he wasn't thinking about looking up the right to see if there's any traffic coming. He just pulled out. Now, what would you have done if you were, you know, dragging these through that curve? You'd fucking be dead, you know, and that's all there is to it. You'd be sliding into that truck. So a road like this, man, is all about discipline. It's whether you're a new rider, experienced rider, whatever, it's all about making sure you don't get on the brakes while you're trail braking too hard, get yourself into trouble, whether you have ABS or not ABS or whatever. Cleaning up your turns so you can get on the brakes without a problem. Oh, this is where you get hammered right there. I mean, let's face it, man, Latinos are not shy. They see a river, they're on it, they're in it, you know, fuck it. Let's go. Now this is in a more traditional place. But I've seen this influx over the last 10 years or so of people just wading the fuck out in these waters, and sure enough, people walk out in the middle of these rivers and get killed, man. They go off and find a riptide or find a bunch of rocks, and the next thing you know, they're drifting down the Potomac. What's up? I'm sipping a beer, and you know, it only takes like a couple of people. I have reasons to go that way, but right now I'm going to go this way, and then so we'll come out in old Ellicott City. What I really would like to have is a battery indicator on my dashboard. It tells me how much battery I have left on my my camera. This camera is not sophisticated enough to allow me to charge it and record at the same time. I can do one or the other. Look at this guy, just fuck it. Hey man, there's a river. You know, just fuck it, right up in there. This is the kind of stuff I like to ride on, where there isn't a lot of dead deer, a lot of traffic. You don't have to worry too much about people popping out on you, and you can go fast or slow as you feel like going, not worrying about cars coming up behind you and give you a bunch of shit. I don't know if there's a car right behind me right now, I don't know, but and the other thing I like is to not have to worry about getting wet. I really don't like riding in the rain. I don't like riding on wet roads. Now, the dilemma I have with this bike is the fuel economy. It's not the size. I mean, it's a little bit big, a little heavy, there's no question. But that's not really the problem I have with it. The problem I have with it is it only gets 30 miles a gallon. It's really hard to rationalize riding a motorcycle just for fun that gets, you know, abysmal gas mileage. So this is Frederick Road, and that goes up into Ellicott City proper, which is east or west, southwest Baltimore. And then we're going to go down here, take 40 out to 70. This part is going to be boring, so let me turn this off a little bit here. The old city, which is kind of neat. A lot like a lot of cities along the railroad. It's old railroad towns. I mean, there are a lot of cities like this. So let's see what we can do here. Got this guy goofing off. Go, go. Just damn bat wings. People looking for spaces. Guys in shorts, flip-flops, and a fucking helmet. And a fucking tank top t-shirt. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we can't get up there. Yeah, we can. Can't get past that guy. Ugh. I'm not big on waiting in traffic. If I can cut, I'll cut. For sure. Ugh, that looks like Twisties. Anyway, the cool thing about a lot of these roads, like between Baltimore and New York, is that you do run into a lot of these old towns. And be careful not to get too close to this guy's ass. And they're kind of cool towns. And I think the weird thing about it is how there's so many weird towns like this that are light. And just like now you see all these prefab towns that are like, you know, the neighborhoods with the same kind of bars, the same kind of restaurants, similar construction. It's because they're building little towns is a franchise. I mean, you know, they take the plans and they just take and they plop them down in one place, another place, another place. And sometimes they take root and grow, and sometimes they don't. It was much the same in the older days, I would guess, because you see these same kind of, you know, clapboard towns all the way from here, all the way out, 68, you know, 40, 20, maybe not 28, maybe not in Virginia. You certainly see them in Maryland and Pennsylvania a lot. So anyway, let's see. Let's see if we can find 40 now. I can say, I was going right the first time. It's just that things look so different when you're on a bike. I shit you not, I didn't recognize it. I kid you not, I did not recognize where I was the first time, but this is right. So, I passed by 7-Eleven 3 times. Once the right way, once the wrong way, and another time the right way. This is the right way. I remember that circle. And then things just start to get all kinds of heinous. So let's see how it works out. I don't know, man. I haven't been up here for 3 or 4 months. I'd only been down here a few times before to start with, and now we'll see if we can do this, if it's wet, whatever, and survive. It was hard enough before. Now we'll see if we can survive it. I think I had to go that way, to be honest. Nope, I guess not. See, it's like I said, you know, it just, oh, this shit is just fucking crazy. We're coming out, there's another big cloud out there. The thing is, there's so many blind turns up and over. You really can't go flying down here because you never know what's going to be on the other side of these hills. And I know there's one part where it goes to a town where the roads are just sick. I mean, they're just so tight. It's like horse and buggy tight. All right, so and we will stop up here when we get to someplace interesting and have a drink. Or at least buy a Coke. I sure hope this thing is running. There's so many death roads up here. I hate to even think this guy's riding around. Must run out of gas. It's stopped in the shade. No, he's riding around, no helmet on. You know, you don't have any room for error in these roads. They're that sick. Last thing I need to do is come down here and see some water. Up over the hill, down the hill. There's some water here somewhere. And the sides of my tires, I looked at them earlier today, they're just dirty, muddy. Now I hadn't ridden the dirt off them, so I don't have room for to come down here and go flying. But when you see shit like this, then it's okay. You watch out for that aisle. What's up, gentlemen? Not a word. Some people will wave and some people won't. It's like sometimes I'm like, I don't see them until I have enough time. If I see them, they'll come like that, I'll wave. Guys that look at you and won't wave at you are dicks. Oh, there's a truck. He's thinking about pulling out on me. I always think that like the guy that hits me is going to be driving a red truck. Absolutely no respect for motorcycles. I just feel it. It's got a bug inside my damn windshield. Mattress came out of somebody's back of somebody's car. I was riding on 695 a while ago, and then I saw these people stop to more firmly squeeze a mattress in the back of their truck. No retainment, no actual retainment or tie down, just more firmly squeeze it in there. I can't tell you how many times I see mattresses come flying out of the back of a truck or lying in the middle of the highway, stuff like that. So here you see the road's wet, Bike is kicking off some real heat. I'm just taking it easy here because I can't deal with this wet road. Full throttle around 3,500 RPM and swing. All right, so we come into this town and then things just start to get sick. Look at this one. Oh yeah, this is it, right here. I'm stopping here in a minute to get a drink anyway. Look at this shit. Is that a brick wall? What is this, the Northwest 200? Look at this shit. I hit this in my car the first time. I was like, holy fuck it. I almost had a heart attack right here. Look at this. And it just jumps out of it, man. Just jumps up. I'm pulling 3,500 RPMs right now in about fourth gear. All these donuts. Horse crossing. This isn't too bad on a bike. Not as bad as I thought it was. And it never really is because you always should be going slow enough to be comfortable anyway. Chicken and ham dinner right here at the church annual Woodstock Festival. Now this is, every time I come over this it gets me because that's exactly what I mean. You come cresting these hills and there's a turn. Sort of a dry spot in the middle, kinda. Kinda looking for that dry spot in the middle. Yeah, baby. Another crest turn. To a cemetery, of course. This is a long sweeper, and it just tightens up as you go down the hill. Got to slow down here because it's just going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. To the point where you pick a spot, you make the turn, and then I think across the railroad tracks right here. Okay, so bike still wants to turn, right? I'm coming out of the turn, and it's still trying to drift to the outside. So there's a little store here. We'll stop and get a Coke real quick. Apparently I'm not the only guy with that thought. The can. I think we're gonna stop out here though, where there's a table. I like tables. See, those guys are too cool to stop. Oh, this big turd. Or mud or something. I don't know. Let's see what we're going. Horse and mule poop. That's why we stopped on the road, but maybe we'll stop the road after all. We don't find any fucking... No, this is cool right here. More poop. More fucking poop. Find a bike lying on his side and poop. Not a bad place. Definitely good food. Good bar. I've never actually been in that bar. Believe me, it's worth checking out. Absolutely worth checking out. Now, this is a tough choice. So we got left here. There's an interest road on the other side of that bridge. But I've been this way. I know where this goes, I think. But check it out anyway. So I don't know if we're going to make it out to Urbana. Nice rock. So I can't check my weather radar because my phone is dead. The legs are starting to cramp up. So man, I was totally dehydrated when I got there. I just remembered why going this way is bad. It does take you back to these small towns. This comes in, I think, Laytonsville. You really have no desire to go through Laytonsville. Thank you, Mr. Bug. Alright, so I'm noticing that this bike has marginal straight line stability. I mean, it has some, but it really kind of handles like, man, what did I eat? Another bug? More protein. And more like, it handles more like a small bike, but it's heavy as shit. And, 99 West, Old Frederick, He pulled to the right when I hit the brakes. Look at this. Another one of these custard places. Custard places in the summer, man. So this is basically just bebopping around in Howard County. I totally forgot I need to get some gas. I had to get gas like miles ago. Almost ran through $10 of gas, just like that, at 100 miles. Another big news, I decided that I'm going to have to do an oil filter change about every 2,500 miles, just keep track of it. Much easier to keep track of it that way. Like divide the mileage on this bike by 120, by 1250, or 2,500. And it divides, this is a fun one too. Come over, stop sign. Alright, so there's another park here. It's nice. Up the road here to the right. I was going to run through it real quick because it's a fun turn. Unless this road is under repair, which would suck. Luckily, it's been repaired. Now, I'm serious, you could do this all day long in western Maryland. You get west of Baltimore, north of Gaithersburg in Maryland, Germantown. You can bounce around these back roads all day long. But the one road I really have ridden on lately that I think is fairly consistently heinous is Route 40 west of Cumberland. In Cumberland, you're in the Cumberland Gap and all that kind of stuff, and you head out 40, and it goes up to what they call the Laurel Highlands. And I mean, it's just up and down and up and down, up and down, up and down these giant mountains, 9% grade mountains. So, the one thing I have to admit is that while this bike has just a sweet amount of power, and the handling isn't too bad, it doesn't want to turn to the right as well as it turns to the left. I think is more a problem with the steering column resulting from more wreck damage. And it does drink gas. I mean, it just drinks a lot of gas for the miles that you get out of it. And I would certainly prefer it to not quite drink as much gas. Although I think it's a tough trade-off between the power and the gas mileage. And I don't see bikes that don't have as much power as getting substantially better gas mileage. I think you have to go, and this is the problem, this is where I would like to start graphing not so much horsepower and peak torque, and I guess there's two things I'd like to start graphing. One is the power spread between the horsepower peak and the torque peak, and the other is the miles per gallon, and then you got to talk about city miles and highway miles, stuff like that. But I think that for regular road riding, a bike that gives better gas mileage makes more sense than a bike that doesn't. Now, I'm not saying that this bike is not worth the money or the power. I mean, certainly, being able to ride around at 3,000, 4,000 RPM and just twist the throttle and have it do spectacular things is certainly worth putting a lot of other shit. But I can't call it the optimal use of resources. Between the money that this bike has cost me and the gas mileage that it costs, the tires, it doesn't take like the world's cheapest tires. 200s, are not cheap. Go back of this. Oh, this is the other side. Okay, another crossing of the railroad. Okay. This may be what I was looking for first. So this has recently been paved. Ooh, nice sticky road. Ooh, sticky. I've been up that one before. We're looking for this one, I think. Marriottsville Road. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, nice gravel. All right, folks. not to bomb off this road. I forgot where this comes out, but I remember I like this road. It goes by this power line. I gotta be out of power, out of juice by now on my camera. Ugh. Kind of fun, twisty road. Definitely fast if you get yourself into some serious trouble. The car's still right on my ass. Yeah, pull over and let him go first. Come on, just let him go up the hill first. I don't want him following behind me. See, for me, it's just easier to let the cars go, man. I don't go as fast as I want to go. If I go for a while and I'm at my pace that I want to ride on, and they're right behind me, I'd rather follow them than have them follow me. Dragging going on there. Bike is plenty fast enough, man. You don't have to worry about being fast enough. What you worry about is not sticking it into something. Handles plenty well enough. You know, what is a lighter bike gonna get you, honestly? It's like saying, you know, you need 200 horsepower at a motorcycle. What is a bike that weighs 400 pounds going to get you? Nothing. Over a bike that weighs 500 pounds. Seriously. In terms of handling. It's a little bit faster to handle. You know, a little bit faster in corners. So what? Honestly. Honestly, so what? Is it going to help you miss a deer by like that microsecond that you wouldn't have missed it if you were riding a bigger bike? No. It's going to be more about your reflexes than the bike. I fully admit that a bike can be too big when it's too heavy for you. Like if you just can't move it around, you have trouble picking it up. When, you know, trust me, even I have trouble picking up a bike that weighs 500 pounds. You have trouble picking it up, trouble maneuvering it around in terms of pushing it backwards and forwards. Yeah, okay, fine. You know, I wouldn't buy a 750-pound bike myself. It's just more weight than I want to be dealing with. Wet road, wet turn. Not the kind of thing you want to be hauling ass down here. Find out you cannot make this turn and go off into the bushes, which is another topic we'll get to in a minute, but let me see. So, the thing about this bike is while it's a 1200, it only weighs 550 pounds. It's lighter than my old bike by 100 pounds with almost twice the power. And I can't complain about it in terms of power to weight, or power or weight, you know, or handling. One thing I complain about is having to keep putting money into it to replace the parts that are bent from the accident, the asshole, which is another thing I'm going to get to. But I'm about ready to take care of that shit. I've exhausted all my distractions. All right, so the thing I wanted to say, that was the test to see if I could remember what it was. Oh yeah, the whole issue of people dumping. I've been watching a lot of videos lately. I think a little back and squirm there. A lot of videos lately about people who wrecking, honestly. And, you know, they're riding along and doing 75, 85 miles an hour on these back roads and wreck. And what happens? Nothing. They just go slide into the glass a little bit, but nothing really happens to them. It's really just odd. And it's like, you know, okay, they're wearing leathers and yes, and all that kind of shit, and yes, they don't get road rash, but I don't like the concept of sliding off a road at 75 miles an hour into the grass, and all they do is tumble for a little while and then nothing happens to them. And I don't like that concept because I think it's wrong to rely on that kind of thing happening. And I've seen it happen now. I don't know if they were doing 70, but I certainly know, you know, at some point they were doing 70 and they were braking and trying to avoid somebody getting wrecked or something like that, you know. And so we gotta get some gas up here anyway. All right, so Old Liberty Road. Be heading pretty much like southwest across Howard County here. And so we should hit something like 108 here any minute. Here's another fucking mall. Do we need more malls in this country? Do we not have enough malls? There's another Old Navy or some crap like that going there. Why do we need more malls? Well, because the malls we have now are not in the right place. They're in depressed, decaying neighborhoods, and you're seeing a sort of suburban gentrification, in effect. Also going up here, these out-of-the-way neighborhoods where people are just moving in. Ah, man, look at this light. I hate lights like this. Shit. Fuck, I hate lights like this. Just sitting here. Nobody comes to the light. Just sit there for fucking 30 seconds. It's suburban or rural gentrification as opposed to urban gentrification. So people have all this farmland and can't farm it, don't farm it. There's no money in farming it anymore, so they sell it. And it gets divided up into these really nice plots where people move to get away from these crappy suburban neighborhoods. Another stoplight, yay! And then because they're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's no shopping malls around, they need a shopping mall to go to, so they build one. And the whole thing is, it's like a large area gentrification as opposed to a small area gentrification, an inner city thing. But the basic concept is people moving into places that are cheap, buying up real estate, building houses. They have extra money. They don't want to go driving all over the freaking county to go shopping. They don't want to go to these crappy strip malls, these crappy neighborhoods. So they want a new strip mall in their new neighborhood, so they build one. And even if it has the same shit, it's better because it's a more upscale neighborhood. Even though it's the exact same damn kind of places. It's the clientele that's better. And because it's better clientele with more money, it all works out. And eventually what will happen is people will either move away from here, or money will move away here, jobs will move away, whatever, and the pattern just gets repeated. It gets repeated. It's like if a place doesn't have enough money in it, property values drop, and you go through this negative cycle. Of ghettoization as opposed to gentrification. Alright, so we're screaming for gas now. Oh, look at that! Yeah! Woohoo! Pull out right in front of them. Good job, asshole! Right in front of them. Gotta love it! Hit the next gas station, see. You'll be flying down here. Frederick 27. So what I really think that one could do is play games with power versus fuel economy. And it could be a matter of finding a bike which you're comfortable with riding, makes enough power for you to feel it's fast enough, but still gets good enough gas mileage. And my question is it really the displacement that's the issue? Or is it something more insidious like the horsepower per liter? Like, do all bikes make the same miles per gallon as long as they have the same power to weight ratio, the same horsepower per liter ratio? You know, is the advantage of like a bike like the CV250R that makes very low power, relatively low power, everybody knows is weak, into such a bike that it gets relatively high gas mileage for its displacement. So is that something that can be correlated to the ratio of the power bandwidth to the horsepower, things like that, but not even that really, to the horsepower per liter? So you can do a whole scientific paper on this, I think. Anyways, we're heading west of Frederick. Oh, I could get on that, but let's get some gas first. Who's this guy? He's got monkey bars. Yeah. So, he's not gonna look at me. He's a fucking hairball. Plus we missed it. Can we get there this way? I don't think so. This is somebody's house. Oh, maybe we can. What the hell is making that clicking noise? I don't like the clicking noise. I could also do a paper on the types of bikers who wave each other. What, out of the different types of bikers, who's going to wave at who? Now this is the kind of day and the kind of weather we love as motorcyclists. Not hint of rain at the moment, but we have miles of ride, roads to ride. Sorry, out of service. We get 12 doses of gas.